It's hard to believe, but college football season is almost over. Only one game remains on Bama's regular schedule, their annual showdown with the Auburn Tigers. And the two teams couldn't be more different. Bama heads into this year's Iron Bowl ranked number 2 with grand ambitions for the postseason. Meanwhile, the Tigers are limping in, dragging an abysmal 3-8 record with them, no shot at a bowl game, and a coach that most likely will not be there next season. A stark contrast to the Tigers of 2010. WVUA Sports Director Gary Harris is here to tell me more. Gary, I know you're busy, buddy. Thanks for doing this.
My pleasure. Abysmal.
Abysmal.
Man, you're tough. Because I mean, 3-8's bad, but I was thinking abysmal would be more like 0-11.
Well, 3-8. That's abysmal.
Yeah, I guess
that's abysmal enough
when
for
your
me.
best win is Louisiana at Monroe, then it probably is abysmal. Your other two wins over New Mexico State and Alabama A&M.
There you go.
Let's be honest. Still, though, it is the Iron Bowl. And I'm not going to say that stranger things have happened, because I do feel safe to say that if Auburn won the game tomorrow, Danny, that would be the strangest thing we've ever seen in an Iron Bowl, if a 33-point underdog was able to pull the game. So I won't say stranger things have happened, but we have seen some big upsets in this series. And I think the key for Alabama is to approach this game like Auburn is Auburn, and not look at the 3-8, not look at the fact that they're 0-7 in the SEC. Look at them as a team that has SEC talent, a team that just 2 years ago won the national championship.
That's right.
And a team, dare I say it, that is capable of competing in this league, regardless of when and where. They played LSU to a 12-10 game.
That's true.
Earlier in the season at Jordan-Hare, they had the ball at the end of the game with a chance to drive down and kick a field goal to win it. They hung with Clemson for 4 quarters in a game that went right down to the wire. That's, Clemson's a top 10 type team. Even though they wound up losing the game, they were in the Mississippi State game until midway through the 3rd quarter. So they have shown flashes. Now, certainly they've had some embarrassing defeats too. Alabama lost to Texas A&M, but Auburn got blown out of the stadium, giving up 62. Wow. And had A&M had a mind to, they probably could have scored 75 or 80 in that game. Of course, Georgia just laid a 38-0 shellacking on them a couple of weeks ago. But I mentioned the upsets. In 1972, even though that was a pretty good Auburn team, nobody gave them a prayer to beat Alabama. And they had less than 100 yards of offense, but they blocked the 2 punts, got a 43-yard field goal from Gardner Jett, and wound up winning 17-16 over an undefeated Alabama team. In 1997, Alabama went down there to Jordan-Hare Stadium. Mike DeVos' team, wound up 4-7 that year, but they dominated Auburn and would have won the football game had the offensive coordinator Bruce Arians not decided to throw a screen pass. I don't care what anybody says. If he runs the football there, Alabama wins that game. In 2002, Auburn came in here as a big underdog and against Dennis Franchione and won the game 17-7 without Carnell Williams, without Ronnie Brown, both of whom were out. They played Trey Smith, a 3rd-string tailback, and won that game. And so you do have to keep the rivalry in mind. This is not a game where you just show up and say, we're going to win the game because we're a 33-point favorite. Alabama needs to be ready to play. And, of course, we watched some video there, even though it wasn't an upset of one of the most disappointing games in the history of the series for Alabama. Of course, 1972, we mentioned 2010, when Alabama was up 24-0. At one point in the 2nd quarter, Alabama had 300 yards of offense, and I think Auburn had 2. Right. And Auburn came back to win that ball game and went on to win the national championship. This will be the 4th straight year that this game potentially decides a national championship. In 2009, Alabama had to win it. They did. In 2010, Auburn had to win it. They came back and won it. Last year, Alabama had to win it. They did. And now this year, Alabama has to win the game to have a chance at the BCS National Championship. And not only win it for a shot at the BCS National Championship, but to clinch the West Division. There's Arkansas and Auburn, or Arkansas and LSU are playing right now. Right. If LSU wins that game and they're up a touchdown in the 4th quarter, and A&M beats Missouri, and Alabama were to lose to Auburn, they would not even win the West Division.
Isn't that crazy?
LSU would go to Atlanta. So there is a lot to play for, and I know I haven't let you say anything.
That's all right.
But
I can't talk anyway.
We're going to have it covered the rest of the night at 5 o'clock. Our final round of Fearless Picks with Mike Parker and I. We're dead even, by the way. He went 5-0 last week on it.
Unbelievable.
And more Iron Bowl coverage at 6. Eli Gold will be in here tonight at 5. Of course, 10 o'clock news, we're going to have a big Alabama-Auburn preview. And in the morning, Crimson Tide kickoff at 8 a.m. Start your Alabama game day with us. And then I'll wrap it up tomorrow night at 10:15. I'll be back with Sports Saturday for your Alabama-Auburn Iron Bowl recap. So
busy man.
We're the station to tune into the next 24 hours plus.
All right, super. Thanks much, Gary. Like Gary just said, you can get your Iron Bowl started early, first thing tomorrow morning. Join Gary Harris for Crimson Tide kickoff at 8 o'clock right here on WVUA TV. Well,